together to create something better than their own. And he says, that's racist. And so what I did was I basically just called him on his logic and said, it's actually the exact opposite of racism and something. But, the crowd was on my side, and this guy just, he just felt uncomfortable because he's not comfortable with that where he's from, I guess. So, there's that to me is more of a malicious type of heckle, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
But very rarely is there somebody like that who wants to mess things up. And if you have the crowd on your side, it's pretty easy to handle a heckler because the crowd wants you to win.
Right. Well, do you feed off of a heckler? I mean, everybody's version of a heckler is different, but...
No, I don't. I can handle them. It's like a roller coaster, okay? It's like, most of the time, most comedians are going up there with a set that they want to do, right? They're probably going to bounce off the audience a little bit, but that's not hecklers. They're going to connect with the audience. They're going to talk to the audience a little bit because that's what you do in a conversation in a room. But I don't know if there's many comedians that feed off of it and love when they get heckled, because we have a mission that we're trying to get from point A to point B. And sometimes when somebody tries to mess things up, it just puts you on a roller coaster, or you're on a tightrope and they're trying to knock you off, or they're trying to, wiggle the tightrope. You've just got really good balance and can get back to where you need to be. That's where I think that's the skill that you develop over the years.
Sure. Okay. So there's, obviously like the really, really high level comedians. And when I say that, like Cat Williams, you can go on and on and on and on. And they've had their downfalls and then they come back up, but everything that they talk about, and what really makes people laugh, in my opinion, and I could be completely off base, but is personal experiences. So is everything that you do, for the most part, you got the JT, you got the Timberlake and the music and all this other stuff, which is like phenomenal. But do you work off of your actual real life situation?
I think every comedian is different. Everyone has their personal preferences, whether it's to talk about their family or their personal experiences, or their maybe their fantastical experiences that they make up in their head because that's their MO. Or there's guys like Stephen Wright, where I'm not. He's brilliant. I'm not sure how much of that comes from his personal experience, but. I don't know. I just think it's like music. I feel like people are less aware of comedy being like music. They'll accept that music is there's different genres of music. There's different styles of music. Even two rock musicians are still different, and they work from different ways, just like people are different. And the same goes with comedy. Everyone's experience is different, and everyone is going to talk about different things in different ways. But for me personally, like, a lot of it does come from personal experience. Even if it's like an impression of Justin Timberlake, the experience that I'm going through is that I think he's super cool, and I have a bro crush on him.
Bromance.
It is my personal experience. Yeah, it is my personal experience that I look up to him and I think he's super talented, and I'm trying to figure out what he's got. So that is the part that is my personal experience. Yeah. Hope that's clear.
No, it is. Absolutely. And with that, have you had like a musical background in your life that that has made you, because obviously your impersonation of Justin Timberlake is spot on. And then when you're also doing your stuff with T-Pain and the different mics and all that stuff,
the auto-tune mic?
Yeah, the auto-tune. And so do you have like a background of that?
Yeah. So, well, thanks. I'm glad you like my Justin impression. Hey. Ho! You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully that's Justin over the phone. That's how he sounds over the phone. But yeah, I do have a musical background. Had a bar mitzvah, and my cantor taught me all these prayers. This is one of my first musical expressions. No, actually, I spent all my bar mitzvah money on DJ equipment. So my parents were like, "You got to save your money for college," and I'm like, "Nah, Mom and Dad, I got to spin records." So I started as a DJ. At the same time, my stepfather, the Mexican stepfather that I have, is also a musician. So he plays jazz, and so just growing up around that definitely had an effect on me. I don't know how to play any instruments, but when I was in college, I studied broadcasting, so I kind of got to know how to use recording equipment, and through the years, I worked in radio a little bit, and was taught just a little bit of stuff here and there, and kind of self-taught myself with friends' help how to use software, recording software, and that also has a way that you can control a keyboard and play different sounds. So through the years, I've become like a music producer, I guess, for my own tracks, and learn music that way. So I feel like my most powerful instruments are like my ears and my voice, because I can, I did a lot of parodies, and so I had to do impersonations or impressions of all these singers. So it just required me to like listen over and over and over to singers to try to get what they got going on. And actually, in fact, recently I did one for a radio station that it was like a rock song. It was a parody of Traveling Band by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never heard the song. And we did Traveling Band based on the Trump Traveling Band. Okay. And I had never tried to do a rock song like that. I'm more like hip-hop, pop music. And this guy, John Fogerty, man, that dude's voice is really high. Like, he's got one of the highest voices I've ever heard, but it sounds really gravelly. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Born on the bayou, right? Proud Mary, keep on boing, that guy.
Yeah.
But his voice is, like, if you try to do his voice, it's like super gravelly and scratchy, but at the same time, really high. The tone is like super high. And so I had to drop it down a couple octaves, but I had to try to make my like my words, my cadence, my like I knew I couldn't get my voice to get where he goes, but I tried to get my mouth to go where he goes. I try to like get the shape of his mouth. That sounds gross. I tried to get the shape of his mouth. I tried to mold my mouth off of his.
That's sexy.
So yeah, that's I basically had to French kiss John Fogerty to get that song done.
It's the only way to do it.
So,
yeah,
it's really.
Yeah. So can you? I don't know if you're prepared because we didn't talk about this, but are you able to give us a voice sample of maybe something that's coming up in your show on the 19th that we can look forward to, whether it's JT or whatever?
Well, I'm very impressed by JT, man. JT, Justin's been smooth. He's smooth, right? He's been smooth forever.
He's the next Michael Jackson. I mean, it's the truth.
He really is. If you listen to some of his songs, it sounds like he stole them from Michael Jackson. Like, can't fight the feeling. That thing was definitely written for Michael Jackson. I feel like he's been even smooth when he was in NSYNC, even though he had ramen hair. Still smooth. I feel like he probably busted out the womb already smooth, right? He's like,
right.
On the day that I was born, I cut my own umbilical cord. I went straight to the studio, hit record. 2 days later, I was out on tour. Right? And he's like, come on, whisper. Makes you wish I'm single. I'm a regular voice. Makes your earrings jingle. Makes the people mingle. I'm all settle. Makes your private tingle.
So, okay. So I've been waiting since I was able to contact you and make this work. Because obviously you're a busy man, and you know we are low peanuts when it comes to the peanut factory, which is cool. We're working our way up, but the first thing, like when you hear,
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying I don't know what you just said, but it sounded like you need to consider yourself an almond.
Thank you. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. You've been promoted to almond.
Man, by the one and only.
Yeah.
So, okay. Has anybody, and I'm sure it has to have happened. Has anybody come to you and talked to you about your last name? The Schwartz.
Yes, all through high school.
Okay. Do they
be with you?
Oh God, I love you for that. So, Spaceballs is my shit. It's my jam.
Yeah.
You know
Dude,
what I'm saying?
I gotta tell you, Mel Brooks, like, huge influence on me. Huge influence growing up watching his movies. And, you know, I don't really ever, talk about that. But I realized that Mel Brooks, like, he's the king of parody. That guy's parody is so good in Spaceballs. And it wasn't until later till I watched Blazing Saddles. And it's just brilliant. That guy is one of the best comedic filmmakers and one of the best comedians, even though he doesn't do stand-up, in history. And he's still alive. I went to go see one of his, he had a screening of Young Frankenstein and another movie. It was for my birthday. I went to go see him, and he was there, and he spoke, and we watched the movies. It was amazing.
Is he like as crazy as everybody thinks he is, or is this dude like the most like genius son of a bitch of all time?
I'm going to probably say both. I don't know him personally, but, you know, he's definitely a genius, and he's definitely crazy, because you got to be a little crazy, but in a good way, to think of some of the stuff he does and to execute it so well. You know, it's one thing to think of it, but his execution is like second to none.
Well, I've got this sample set up real quick. I want to play it.
Oh, it's going to be yogurt. Did you get yogurt?
Oh, just wait for it. Are you ready?
You got a drop from yogurt. I'm feeling it. I'm anticipating it.
All right, here we go. I have him too, but this one is where I'm not even going to set it up. I'm not even going to do it. I'm just going to play it. Ready?
You have
Dark
the
helmet.
And I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Now let's see how well
he handles it.
All right, that's good enough for that portion.
Yeah, I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Now let's see how well you handle it. And I always used to get, may the Schwartz be with you. Both of those.
No, I love it. Yeah, I'm not even joking. I grew up with that movie, and you know, I'm 36. You know, so I'm not like super old, and I'm not super young, obviously, but like that was the coolest movie growing up. I don't care if you don't like Spaceballs, you got some problems, man. I mean, and the fact that you share the Schwartz with everybody is pretty effing incredible. I got to be honest with you.
Well, I do. My, you know how I call my supporters the Schwartz Force.
So, I mean, how is your following? I mean, because you can look you up on YouTube and everything else, and you've got a crazy amount of looks at all your videos.
Views.
So
Well,